Alright, so we have 3 clips here. We have a wedding clip, we have this really vibey sunset clip, and then we have a very dark clip from a music video that I just shot. 3 very different clips, but I want to show you guys each of these because you are probably going to be editing this clip a lot more different than this clip because of the exposure. And basically, to get started, all you got to do is go to your effects panel and type in Dehancer, and you're gonna find that, make sure it's all installed and ready to go. You're gonna drag it on the clip. And the thing that I love about Dehancer is that it is essentially an all-in-one plugin. All right, so you are going to make all of your lumetri color adjustments within this plugin. All right, and essentially you do not need to do anything here. All right, all you need to do is right here, and you're just gonna go down the list, and you will get the look that you want. Obviously, you can see here this is a pretty ugly look. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is go to your input, and you're going to change the source. All right, so we have Rec 709 here. Now, if you do not see this option here that says choose camera, what you're going to want to do is go down here and click on check profiles and make sure that all the profiles are installed. Okay, and once that's done, you're going to click choose camera and find the camera that you shot this on. They have a plethora of options here. I shot this on the S5 2X, so I'm just going to click the S5 II Vlog. And essentially, this will get the correct color science that is going to be the baseline here. And obviously, we still have a very grayish look. But the first thing you're going to want to do here is adjust your exposure and temperature and tint, obviously. And this is kind of a subtle art. If you're in your head and you're thinking, okay, I want this image to be a little bit warmer, you're going to turn up the warmth. If you want to have a little bit of green and magenta tones in here, you're going to turn that up. So don't go too crazy, obviously, but this is just going to be your baseline. You have defringing here and defringe radius. I don't really use this, so I wouldn't worry about it. The next thing you're going to want to do is pick your film, okay? And your film is essentially how you get the film look. It's the type of film, and you have all these different types of film. You have Fuji, you have Agfa, you have Cinestill, you have Kodak. What I would recommend is basically just going through here and picking the one that you think looks best. But honestly, before you even do that, what I would do to help you choose the look that you want is go down here to expand and set your black and white point first. Okay, this is going to help you kind of get the exposure and contrast right. So for the black point, if you want your shadows to come up, you're just going to raise it up. So I think I want this to be right around here. It's around 17. And then white point is essentially your highlights. All right, so when you drag it down, you have more of your highlights. And obviously we want to preserve all the clouds and stuff, so I'm going to leave that around 90. All right, so you're going to want to set the expand first because that's going to give you a better idea of what your final image is going to look like, which will help you pick out the film. Also, make sure this is enabled or else you're not going to see the different film. I'm just going to go through here and pick the film stock that I want. Ooh, this is really cool. I like that a lot. Push and pull. Honestly, I wouldn't even really mess with this, but you can if you want. It's just going to give you different looks here. Next, you're going to go to Film Developer, and this is essentially going to give you your color boost, which is going to be the thing that brings out the color in your image. And so I like to just put this up, 100. And if you're not looking for that much color, that's fine. You can put this around here. We have contrast boost. This is kind of your contrast slider. I'm going to put this around, let's say 10. We have gamma correction here. Yeah, I like that. I like the greens popping. And then color separation, I don't really mess too much with this one. All right, next we have film compression, which is exactly what it says it is. It is how much your film is going to be compressed. So the first slider here we have is impact. And right now it's at 86, which is pretty high. And you can see the difference when impact is high versus when it is low. I don't like having it too much. I like the grain to be pretty subtle. also have color density, tonal range, so you can mess around with these. Next we have print. So with film, after you shoot on it, you can print it into another film, and essentially that is what it's doing. So it's basically a look on top of a look. So if you want to get a Synanon look, you can choose to put that on top of here. This actually looks pretty good. This is the Fujifilm print film. But for now, I'm just gonna stick with linear and stick with the look that we already have. Next we have color head, and essentially what color head is just kind of messing with your colors. So when you enable here, you can mess with the cyans and the magentas and the greens. I'm gonna mess with this just a tiny bit. I'm gonna increase the greens just to make that grass really vibrant, and then the cyans I'm gonna increase just a little bit. All right, and then obviously with shadows, midtones, these are going to be controlling just the colors of these things, so keep that in mind. I don't really mess with these, to be honest. Now we have film grain, and this is essentially your film grain, what type of grain you are using. And you can see presets here. We have 8mm, 16mm, 35. Basically, like, again, I don't really know what all of these mean, but it's basically just presets in different looks. So right now we're on 35 ISO 250, and I like this look. But if you want, you can go to 16mm and you have a different look. So yeah, I mean, you can just go through here. I think 35mm is kind of like that happy medium. You can also get custom controls for your film. You can control even the shadows of your film, the film resolution, the highlights, the chroma. There's so much you can do to get that look that you want. But me personally, I just like to go with a preset, and I'm gonna do this one here. I think that looks really nice. Next we have everybody's favorite thing right now. It's elation, and basically when you enable this, you have that red glow on your subjects. And again, you have presets here for the specific look. You can do Super 8, which is a very heavy halation. Do custom halation. You can adjust all that stuff, so you can go crazy with that, but I'm gonna keep it there. Next we have bloom. And bloom is essentially just going to give you kind of more of a diffused look. If you can see it there, you can see when I enable it, it kind of adds a diffused look. Again, you have your presets here you can mess with. It's going to give you more or less of that. And I like that 35, but I think I might do the 16mm there. And then we have film damage, and film damage is basically like when you shoot on Super 8, film is it's often damaged because it's been scuffed with, and as you can see, it just adds that kind of overlay, and it's just really nice to have that there, because a lot of times you'll have to go through a hard drive or look on YouTube or any stock website to get that, and then you'd have to put that on top of your clip and then screen it. But right here, you can just slap it on there. Have a couple different very accurate looks here for 16mm, 35mm, and I really like this 35mm one because it's really just a couple white splotches here and there. It's nothing really crazy. Next we have film breath. This is one of my favorites right here. When we enable this, you get kind of you can see it especially in the grass. Let me actually make it 8mm so you can see it better. You get kind of like that bouncy, that breath effect. I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like the film is kind of moving. You know what I mean? You can really see it there. And again, you have custom controls. You can adjust how much of the period you want that breath to take place. It's just a really cool effect. So I'm gonna keep it on that 16mm since I really like that. Next we have gate weave, and basically this is kind of that look where the film is bouncing. You can see it here. It's kind of shaking. Keep in mind that when you enable it, it's just going to zoom in your image a little bit, so you just got to keep that in mind. Next we have overscan, and essentially what this is just overlays. So as you can see, when you throw this on, you get that film perforation on the sides there. You have 16mm, you have ultra panavision, and the really cool thing about this is you can scale it in. So if you want to do that and then get that, and it's just really nice, because a lot of times, again, you have to get these things on YouTube or stock websites, but it's all built into the plugin. It's just which is really convenient. You can change the film perforation mode, so if you don't want these little squares on the side, you can turn that off. What I like to do is usually just scale this in right to the edges. I really like that. Next we have vignette. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what this is. It's essentially gonna give you kind of like that kind of circle around your image, and then when you feather it, it kind of gives you that dark or white when you change the exposure around your image. That's a really cool look right there, but I'm not going to do that. You also have some options down here. You have a monitor. If you are trying to understand the colors and just your image more, you can turn on this false color option and just enable that, disable it. You can also do clipping indication, see where the shadows and the highlights are clipping in your image. You also have output here. This is essentially just a global slider. So as you can see, when we go to 0, it's going to bring back that original image that we had. Then we have a LUT generator, and this is essentially going to allow you to export the look that you just created. It's not going to include any of the overscan elements or the vignetting. It's just going to do the film look. So that's a really cool option as well. And yeah, that is the final look right there. It's really, really accurate, and it just gives you so much control and options. All right, so I'm gonna go a little bit quicker, but I just wanted to show you guys how I go about doing dark images like this one here. This was shot at night and it was already really grainy. So we're gonna go ahead and select the camera that we used. We're gonna adjust the exposure. For this, I'm gonna just brighten it up just slightly. All right, so the most important part for dark images like this is, again, the expand. And essentially, we're just gonna find where we want the shadows to lie, the black point to lie. You just wanna make sure that you're not getting all that grain, because this is already gonna be a very grainy image. And now we're gonna pick our film out. Ooh, this is really cool, and that looks really good. So for this image, as you can see, when I turn the color boost up, it completely just makes it look terrible. I mean, it's having trouble detecting what the color actually is. If it doesn't look good, obviously just keep it down, but I'm just gonna boost this like just a tiny bit. And yeah, the contrast here. I really like this 8mm look. You can really see it with the tank there. Since this is a very dark image, you're really not going to get much of that halation. Film breath, I usually like to keep off for darker images, because like the only place you can kind of see it is where the light is coming from, which is down here. It looks kind of cool, but I just like to keep it off. Gate weave here, again, this is that bounce effect. For a high energy video like this is just makes it even more high energy in a way. So yeah. That's what I do for a dark image. Finally, we're gonna do this wedding look, and this is more or less just gonna be similar to what we did here. Again, it's all about really finding that black and white point. You know, where do you want your black and your whites to be before you put on the film look? So pay very good attention to that expand option before you go into picking out your film. For weddings, I usually like to do the Cinestill 800T. Again, this is going to be case to case, but this is just actual film stock that I own myself, so I just like to use that one. I think it looks good. You really just want to make those colors pop, and feel free to like go back if you want to change the film stock. You know, you can do that, but just keep in mind that you really just want to kind of go in order. You want to start with it, probably expand after input, but other than that, you want to go down the list. Right here, this to me is just way too much halation. Like, I think that just looks terrible in my opinion, but I would probably do something like this, like not too much, but just enough there to kind of get the vibe. You can really see it here in his hair. Bloom, I think, looks good. I think it's a little bit too much in the trees in the back there, so I'm gonna turn that off. For weddings, I usually don't really like to do film damage too much unless it's very stylized. Gate weave can also be kind of cool, but if you're doing a gimbal shot, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a smooth shot, so in this case I'd probably turn it off as well. And then overscan, obviously this is my favorite right here, the Ultra 16 with the perforation off and then scaled up right to the edges. And so yeah guys, that is how to get the film look in Premiere Pro. Dehancer is by far one of the easiest and most fun ways to get the film look. And what's great about Dehancer is they also have a iOS app, so if you're not able to edit on a computer, you can get the app and do everything right on your phone. If you would like to purchase Dehancer for yourself, you can use my code NTWasHere10 in the link description below. It'll help out the channel and help me make more videos in the future. If this video helped you out at all, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and also consider subscribing. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's the end of the video.